The Last Story, an appropriate title for what may very well be the platform swan song, is an RPG from the original creators of the Final Fantasy series. The game's unique battle system, multiplayer elements, and mission structure are a departure from the norm. A North American release seemed quite unlikely for a spell. Is this story worthy of possibly sealing the Wii's legacy?
Wait, you scaly bastards!
It's just you and me. No need to be so formal.
As you command.
Therius, I just said not to... No wonder you're not a hit with the ladies.
Love is the central theme of The Last Story. We're certain this statement brings to mind the worst cliches that Japanese RPGs are frequently guilty of, but The Last Story does better. As a young member of a mercenary band, you're driven to a hard choice between remaining loyal to your friends and ideals and betraying them for a better life as a member of the nobility. If things weren't complicated enough, a war breaks out that shatters the tranquil peace in the kingdom, and you're caught in the middle. It's impressive how the game manages to keep its story at the forefront, even when you'd expect it to fade into the background, like when you're off on side quests, and it all leads to a genuinely satisfying conclusion. Even if you normally balk at the thematic content of Japanese RPGs, don't be surprised if you find The Last Story actually relatable. The strong character development and intimate plot threads make it difficult to put this game down once it's got its hooks in you.
I gotta say, I was surprised. But it does explain a bit about last night.
Would you look at that? Well, I'll tell you, this Argonin chap is no slouch.
Seren, stop gawping like an idiot.
You might expect it to dazzle you with enormous interconnected zones, but The Last Story is a decidedly plot-driven experience without an overworld as such. In lieu of the standard RPG layout, the game guides you through chapters consisting of lengthy dungeons independent of one another. The trade-off here is that the environments are crafted with extra care, with areas that never feel repetitive. There's always something to actively hold your attention, and if you manage to miss out on something your first time through, you're given the option to return to previous areas at your leisure. Though the game's progression goes down in a far more linear fashion, there's still an incentive to go off exploring. Hidden treasure and rare loot is scattered throughout the world, and you can pick up various side quests and complete secondary objectives in the hub town, some of which lead to entirely optional chapters that you'd otherwise miss. These hidden chapters take you deeper into the plot and usually come with a significant reward, like a rare weapon or new ability. Though the single-player game is relatively short by RPG standards, The Last Story also comes with some unexpected multiplayer support. A total of 6 players can team up online in co-op battles against some of the game's bosses. You can also go head-to-head in either team or free-for-all death matches. You can take gear you've earned in single-player into your online battles, and you're also rewarded with new loot for your efforts. Surprising as it may be, though, it likely won't hold your attention for too long. The competitive component would have benefited from a more careful attention to balance, and with nothing but boss battles, the co-op is rather limited in scope. The Last Story isn't your typical RPG, and the combat system takes a bit of time to get used to. Battles play out in real time, and the basics are all there, like melee attacks, spells, and other special abilities. Things get more complicated when you factor in the environments, however. You have the ability to interact with almost everything in sight, so whether it's ducking for cover, running up a wall, or blowing up a bridge, you've got plenty of tactical choices at any given time. The game wants you to get creative with your attacks, and there's always more than one way to tackle an opponent. You're only in direct control of one character during battle, but eventually you gain the ability to command your party members. This seems rather straightforward at first, but there are some interesting complexities lying beneath the surface. You can combine various types of attacks to create special effects in a battle, or else alter the landscape, and the game slowly eases you into these ins and outs so as to help you handle the tougher boss encounters down the road. The diversity keeps you on your toes, and almost no two battles play out the same.
Oh, it stinks!
There are also context-sensitive actions to consider when making your decisions. Occasionally, you'll come across objects or enemies that you can target. Their effects can be as simple as commanding allies to take out an enemy to triggering quick-time events during boss battles. Scouting ahead prior to a battle is one way to gain insight into these opportunities, and there's even a hint of stealth involved, as you can sneak up on opponents and take them out without alerting their allies. The only downside to all this richness is that things can often get clunky. Expect odd moments like accidentally running up a wall or unintentionally taking cover when you meant to roll away. For the most part, though, the game's great blend of tactics and action manages to feel genuinely new.
Fire!
Looks like we have a new client.
Woo! All right! Just as we're about to run out of money.
The last story really pushes the aging Wii hardware to its limits when it comes to the visuals. It won't wow you with its scale, but the amount of detail put into the characters and their immediate surroundings is quite remarkable. All the pretty detail comes at a price, though. Expect some performance hits when things get busy.
Oh, filthy. I'm all sticky.
The soundtrack consists of mellow, soothing tracks from Final Fantasy veteran Nobuo Uematsu, and it should come as no surprise that they have a familiar sound to them. Aside from a few jarring selections, the soundtrack is definitely among his better performances. Don't be surprised if you catch yourself stopping frequently just to enjoy them.
Save the business talk for later. It's time to get smashed.
The last story employs some bold mechanisms in an attempt to chart new territory. If not for a few undercooked components like the multiplayer, it would stand among the best on the Wii. Still, it's a strong RPG in its own right, excelling precisely where you'd expect such a game to. The Wii could have done much worse for a bookend to its storied history.
Oh, you really want your ass kicked, don't you? Then bring it!